how to and gets it all done for me. So she'll be joining the meeting.
Can I borrow her?
I'm sure.
You're firing your daughter.
She's going to join the meeting about 7:30. So
we have a legally binding contract.
I know.
So as I said, my story is simple. That in 2007 I sold my dental practice to a roll-up and had to stay on for 5 years. I decided to go to a mastermind super conference in America put on by a dental group, and I didn't really know why I was going. You know, Michael Gerber was presenting there, and I'd seen Michael Gerber here, and I thought, let's go and see what the Americans are doing, what the American dentists are doing. And at that meeting, I was sitting with a dentist friend of mine from Mildura. We were the only Australians in this meeting of about 500 or 600 dentists. And when Dave Lee got up and presented Infusionsoft, I turned to my friend and I said, "That's why I'm here. I need that product." That it was the CRM side of Infusionsoft which really attracted me. However, the difficulty, as we know, with taking something that you don't know anything about, then trying to get Infusionsoft to help, because the only time with time difference that we could work was Saturday morning my time, Friday afternoon their time, and they closed Friday afternoon, so they actually had to have somebody who wasn't in their office doing it from home to help us. And it was difficult. Everybody knows it used to be called Confusionsoft because it was just so hard to work out what to do with it. So it sat on the shelf for about a year. Every time I went over for these quarterly meetings, Infusionsoft would have somebody there, and it was, to me, it was all double Dutch. The next year, I took my team to to the super conference. I took my whole team, whereas the year before I'd gone on my own. And Infusionsoft did a workshop on the first evening, and my staff said to me, "You've had this for a year and we haven't been using it. Why?" And so they all nutted down into it initially, but it ended up being my part-time practice manager, newsletter person, who ended up really learning how to do it, and that was my wife, or is my wife. And so she used it mainly for the CRM side of things. But we did get help along the way from an Australian lady who was able to put her input in and helped us with the practice. In 2012, when my contract with the purchasers of my dental practice came up for renewal, I stayed on for another 2 years, but the golden handshake that I got in 2007 didn't come again. And so after 2 years of trying to work out a plan with them, in 2014 I walked away, but I'd already started a consulting business and coaching business. I've been writing 2 blogs a week. I've written over 270 blogs, and through a copywriter in the US, we wrote a 36-page special report, and I knew I've got to do something with this properly, and so I called on Avalon to help set up the back end with Infusionsoft. So I'll just show you some of the things that we have done. How do I get that to normal size?
It's Control Z. Control 0.
Control 0. Sorry.
Oh, you mean, sorry, command.
Right. Okay, gotcha. So this is my blog page. It's a WordPress blog page, you know, and the blog gets published twice a week. Down the right-hand side there, you can see that there is a spiel about me, and then the click on this report to receive the special report. So that was the main thing that we were trying to drive people to, was a special report, 36-page special report with a really strong filter. It saved me a lot of time. Anybody who was able to read that special report and then decide that I was the person to help them, it cut out a lot of tire kickers. We also advertised and ran ads through dental lists in the US and here to drive people to that special report. They went to a page which was then this page, which was all this oversized command 0.
Minus dash. Minus big dot to you.
Right. Sorry. So this page shows me talking for a minute, drove people to enter their name here, get the free report, which is immediately downloaded. However, it's also set off a fulfilment package. They received the report in the mail as well, along with CDs of me reading the report, some testimonials, some financial statements. They got the whole enchilada, and then from that, if they were interested, they went to this page, which is a double opt-in page, to get some more CDs, enter their information there, and then into our database. So they then started receiving everything that I had, and from that, if they finally decided that they wanted to speak with me after reading the report, they had to fill out this very detailed application form, which usually took them about an hour. And funnily enough, of the applications, some of them, it was almost like therapy for them. You know, the people would say halfway through them, "I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't even know who you are." But really, I got to the nuts and bolts of it, of finding out a lot about some people. Some dentists were not, you know, their businesses were tanking. Others, their businesses were growing. So it was also gave me the ability to work out who I could help and who I could not help. And you know, as a result, anyone who then decided they wanted to work with me was working with me at a fairly high price for private coaching. So I have coaching clients in the US, Canada, and in Australia that I speak to 3 times a month as a result of people going through this process. Along the way, they keep going back to, they keep getting, and we'll have, when Aveline comes on, we'll talk about what they get. They get this blog via email as well. We advertise through that. We run a whole pile of marketing through that list. We have about about a 22%, I think maybe slightly higher, somewhere in the 20s, open rate on email advertisements that we send to the list. When we run email advertisements, and you can see from the image, where is it here? There's 2,000 on this, but there's probably about 3,000 totally on our list. Probably get maybe 1 or 2 unsubscribes per ad, that's it, not many. So mainly staying in, not opting out at all. This section here, I'm obviously following the blog, but if you went to this page, it would say subscribe. There's a subscribe box there. That again fuels into another process in the back end, which I don't really know much about, and Aveline will talk about how that tends to work. We run, because the list is pretty strong, but it would probably be about a 50-50 split, Australia and the US. I get approached for, they're kind of JVs, but they're kind of not. It's more like a back scratching arrangement. I run ads down through my list for people, and they run ads for my stuff through theirs. Along with that, we're also putting together, because my business is 3 parts. The main part, which I originally wanted, was just the private coaching. But to be a good private coach, you have to be out there writing, which I do, but you also have to be out there speaking. And so this year I started putting on my own meetings in Australia, and in so doing that, it has gained me more credibility as well. We ran the ads for the meetings, we ran to our list, we ran them separately, and we were able to, through interest in those ads, again get a more targeted group of dentists, both here and in the US, who are still interested in my product. So last year I also wrote a book, which was released, published in April, and we've had a campaign for that to use this page
To get the book, you mean?
To get the book, sorry, to buy the book. So we ran ads to my list, we ran ads through other dental lists to buy the book, to drive it to this page so that we could actually fool Amazon. You know, we were going to collect the data and then put it on at 2 o'clock in the morning, so Amazon put it to #1 in its own category, which is dental office practice. But it was also sold on Amazon at the same time, and it went to #1 on Amazon, with people just going straight to Amazon and not coming to our list. So that was a rather interesting process. So it actually hit #1 3 times. It went on, then it went down, then it went up, then it went down. But of course, with Amazon, you don't get to know who buys your book. So with this page, at least driving people to this page, they can order by hitting the red button, I think, and that then drives them, people who aren't on my list back into my list. So the book has been very popular. It's gotten me podcasts with some big names in America. The #1 dental podcast guy just interviewed me in June. It was released in July. This guy here, Howard Ferran, I had lunch with today, just arrived in Australia to do 3 meetings, and he did a podcast interview with me, visual podcast interview with me last week from Phoenix, and he's going to promote the book on his talks, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and wants me to do some stuff with him as well. So business is looking very good, but it certainly will be a lot of pieces of paper and junk without Infusionsoft. So I'm going to see if I can invite Aveline into the meeting about now. Yeah, she would be there, if I know how to. Sorry, this one. Whose paper's that? Is it you got
Yeah.
oh, me, okay, so I've just got a message here that, she's in the meeting, okay. So, how do I get the meeting up here? Claim my room, is that it? How do I join the meeting? So,
Should be an icon down the bottom.
I would just go copy link and send that to her, and she should.
No, she's in it.
Yeah.
She's just sent me
She set the meeting
She
up
sent
for
you a
you.
link.
I set it up.
So press share screen.
Yeah.
Just share her screen.
No, that's it. She's sharing my screen. And how do I get her to speak? Sorry, I need.
I don't use that.
Why don't you just phone it up and she'll tell you what to do?
Yeah. Sorry.
If you share your screen, it will open up the opportunity to
You're not
join
logged
the
in.
conference.
He's not logged in though.
You're not logged in. So you have to sign in on the top right.
Yeah.
If once you log in,
There.
yeah, it'll.
No.
So you have to sign in with Google or Facebook.
As you can see, I'm easy on the other end, but
Speaking of new products, just while you're doing that, we just recently changed from GoToMeeting to, after 10 years, I was using GoToMeeting for 10 years, and we do demonstrations all over the world, so it's massive use, we're big users of it. And we moved to a product called Join Me.
Yes.
So how'd you go with that?
Yeah,
Has
the
limitations
customers,
too?
it's 10 out of 10 for customers. That's where the issues were. GoToMeeting's great, but wasn't without its issues, and it was a pain in the ass sometimes, and I just don't want pain. Don't want the pain. So we, after a long time of hundreds of email communication to them about stuff that goes on, and that's when I'm going to go and look what's out there, because I've been using it for a decade.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And Join Me popped up, and I went and loaded it, run a meeting in about 28 seconds the very first time without anything, without any knowledge about anything, and then started using it with customers, and yeah, they love it. It's just easy.
Okay.
David, I think she might be in a different room to you.
okay.
So
Which one?
just see the little plus with the human button there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just copy that and ask her to join that particular
I
URL.
thought that's what I sent her before. Okay.
She'll be in like 7 Mango Harry or something.
I understand, yeah.
Does she have an email or?
Yeah, I do.
One of the things about
No, it's
join
fine.
me is you can create the meeting and you can have just a
I use
catch
it.
phrase, or you use it, yeah, and it's that little phrase that makes this bit. You know, if someone forgets it, can't find it. Okay, just go to this URL and type in this word.
Yeah, GoTo's doing that now. With this new GoTo free, it's just pretty flaky.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'll say when we initially set it up, when I wrote it with a copywriter, we used 6th Division, and they set up the initial funnel, and that was, they're really nice guys, but the time difference in having to work with them was just killing me. You know, it takes 48 hours to get something that now takes a couple of minutes to get done, and so it became expensive with them in terms of what I originally wanted them to do, and then what it ended up being. Although there was a slight difference, it was like every change was chargeable. And I know the guys at 6th Division, Dave Lee came from Infusionsoft to 6th Division. I dealt with some good guys there, but some of them, it was tough. So she's been really good though. She charges me by the hour, 10 hours in advance, and sometimes I look forward to those 10-hour bills coming further and further apart, and sometimes they come like a day and a half apart. And it's like, oh gee, she's been working hard for me. So it's
a positive way of looking at it.
it is a positive. Yeah. But
Is that really 6,000 emails?
unread.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's 60,000. Didn't you see it? You're very polite.
How do you see
I think you need to go to Peter's session on Inbox Zero.
I'm waiting for it to crash. I've found that the most cleansing.
Your delete button there.
It's a strategy of not making a decision.
It is.
Letting Outlook decide for you.
It is. Yeah.